I'm Erin Stevenson. So I'm the creator of the Do Good movement and this 95-hour children's yoga teacher training program, the longest sentence that ever lived in the world of yoga. So with that, thanks for coming and joining me tonight to kind of learn about what this program is, what it entails, and what you can do with this certification. So first, a little background about me and the Do Good movement. So next year, 2025, is our 10th year with Do Good movement. And recently I, in the past 2 years, created the Do Good movement school, where I can now train others to become children's certified yoga teachers. With this certification, it does open the door for you to go into, whether it's a school setting, a rec center, a library. Truly, the sky's the limit to bring a yoga program into your community. So it's a great opportunity to, again, continue teaching maybe something that you love, that you're interested in. I've had a lot of people actually come through our program and they were doing the training as moms. So they had, two of my last graduates had two-year-old twins and then a 9-month-old. And they wanted to go through this training to just be more mindful parents. And at the end of our time together, we actually just got together for another kindness karma class, which is just a free practice trial with our children classes this past weekend. And they got the itch now. They really want to get out and teach in the community. So, which is awesome, because you might come for a different intention with this training, but you have the opportunity to go bigger if you choose. And my goal with this is to give you the basics of what it means to be a children's yoga teacher, to make you feel educated in the content that you're creating, and then give you an outline, a template of like, here you go, follow this until you feel comfortable, and then you can adapt it and create your own thing. But I want you to be able to leave with a structure that you can just go and press play as soon as you're done. And this isn't something that has come through by any of my trainings that I've had. I felt like when I was done with training, I was kind of lost in a sense. So I've put a lot of effort in making sure you guys feel settled and comfortable and ready to go by the end of our time together. So the Do Good movement, again, we are a school, so we train you to become teachers. We fall under Yoga Alliance. If you're not familiar with this organization, it is kind of like the governing body-ish in the world of yoga. So we are recognized as an official school under them. If you graduate from our program, you can then apply to get the recognized certification under that as well. So there's a lot of great perks in working with us. A lot of other programs out there, whether it's a 200-hour, just basic level yoga teacher training program or children's or what have you. It is good to know and to be aware of kind of where they fall, because sometimes you might go to a rec center and they require you to have certain certifications. So we do fall under that bracket. And as we go through training, we'll talk more about what that means. You have to go and apply to under Yoga Alliance and all those parts and pieces. Short answer is no. You're good to go. Once you graduate from this program, you can go and teach in your community. But there are other levels and things to think about depending on what you want to do with this. So this training officially starts next month. February 21st is a Wednesday night. It's our first virtual training. Like I'm doing right now, I record all of them. So if life happens, and life does happen, you can come and watch the recording at another time. You follow up with me. I work with you to make sure you feel good in the content that was covered. And then we go on to the next meeting or next assignment that you might be working on. My goal is to make this not a stressful environment for you. Starting February 21st, you have a full year to get this training done. It will not take you that much time, but in case life happens, things happen, and you need that extra time and space, just rest assured you have it if you need it. And I am very accommodating, and I try to be. I'm a mom of 3, so I know that the things that we intend don't always go as planned. So just be mindful of that. Yes, there is a structure and kind of a guided timeline of when we're doing what, but we can adjust and adapt if need be. So no pressure in this training. This training is hybrid. So as I mentioned, our first meeting is coming up on February 21st. We meet like this in Zoom. So you'll get a meeting request that is specific to us with a code and password so that people just can't pop in. And then we'll meet on Wednesday nights. They're about like once or twice a month between February and May. And on Wednesday nights, they're only 2 hours long, and we go through different parts of the teachable online content that I'll show you here in a minute. Some of the meetings that we have will incorporate the teachable content. So we kind of like dabble in it, review some of the stuff you learned, or go a little bit deeper, a little bit further. All good, Brooke, thanks. And then the other weekend, kind of more workshop time that we spend together in this virtual world, those are longer. So those are held on Saturdays and Sundays from 12 to 4. Typically we wrap up around 3 or 3:30. I'm not going to say that happens every single time. But I like to give you kind of like takeaway homework to like apply and try out during the time we have set aside for ourselves. So I was trying to be mindful, knowing that people like to do things on the weekend still. You can still have your morning time. You can maybe get some stuff done. If you have kids, run around with them, do the things you need to do, and then work on this stuff in the afternoon. It's only 2 weekends that we have those workshops. Is kind of reviewing my dates. So those are in March is our first long weekend. So that's March 2nd and March 3rd, and that's from 12 to 4. And again, all those recordings or all those meetings will be recorded as well. So if you have to pop in and pop out, you can't attend Saturday, but you can attend Sunday, you'll be able to watch them at another time. The second long weekend that we have is in April, and that's April 6th and April 7th, and again, from 12 to 4-ish. Then with this being a hybrid program, so obviously we're meeting virtually, but then we do at the very end of our training, we meet one time in person. And this is our ability to put it all together and see it together live and in action. So we create a children's yoga class that I actually already have structured. We break it up with the people who are a part of this training, and everybody kind of takes a part that they feel comfortable with. And then we teach it to a live group of kiddos that have come to do this class at no cost. So we call this a kindness karma project. To graduate from our program, there are other parts and pieces that we'll kind of run through here in a moment. But one of those pieces is to teach 4 classes on your own, which we term as kindness karma projects. This counts as one of them that are on our last day. So really, you only have to teach 3 more. With that, it could be like your nieces, your nephews, your own kids, maybe can count as a class. If you want to do something out in your community, cousins, what have you, a lot of opportunity, and I can help you kind of navigate those parts and pieces as well.
Can my yoga regular classes count?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that would be easy peasy for you for sure. And if that seems daunting, and Marcia, I know you said you're in the Chicago area. I have a ton of programming going on later on this summer and actually all year long. Part of our program, we are a curriculum piece in the Chicago public school system. So we actually go into the schools during the day and we work with students in their classroom and teach them parts and pieces of what we specialize in the Do Good movement, which is a little bit different than what I'm teaching you here. It's all the same parts and components, but we have our little secret sauce that if you join us, which you could after this, and teach with us, then you get to learn more about that. But so there would be other opportunities if you wanted to or needed help putting together or organizing a class that I can happily connect you with. So it's kind of like the gist overview of how this kind of works out. Any immediate questions on that stuff? All right, cool. So let's see. I'm going to share my screen here so we can kind of run through what I want. Boom, boom. Desktop, Chrome. Should be now on Facebook. Here, I'm just going to share this. All right. You should be able to see. You guys can see the lecture, right? Whoop, wrong one. I want this one. All right. So, oh my gosh, what do I keep clicking on? Boop. This will help. All right. So this is the teachable platform. So once you have committed to, yes, I would like to do this training, then you will get access to this online curriculum part. So they're broken up into different modules. And again, in this little welcome packet that I'll send you, I'll give you dates. So say our first date on Wednesday, February 21st, that first meeting we have, your task is to complete like the welcome module, our journey, and then start to have, you should have started or have completed the Whole Brain Child book. So it's one book that you'll need to get for this training and course. So again, with this welcome packet, it'll be broken down, the expectations of where you should be at. If you're not there, you get no pressure. We'll get you caught up. It's just easier to kind of join in the conversations when we're live together. So Teachable is pretty easy. It will look like so. You can kind of see like I cheated. I am 17% completed, but you can see as you get started right here at the start to start your session. So each session, not every session will have like a welcome intro video, but written content, some have videos, some have audio. So again, kind of go through it at your own pace. Once you complete a section, you shimmy on down, and then you complete and continue. So we'll keep track of where you are in this Teachable platform. Some of these things have a lot of content, so it might take a second to upload. But again, for the first meeting in February, this is the our journey module. So this is the one that you would go through to kind of understand a little bit more about this training, pretty much reviewing everything we're talking about today. And then going into the understanding children and yoga and our discussion of the whole brain child. So that is kind of, again, the overview of how that will work. Once you work, you don't have to go, so like module by module. You could skip ahead if you wanted to. So say you need to go back, you need to look at assignments. It's not going to stop you from going to a different section. You can do that. And again, I do my best to kind of have everything laid out here for you in Teachable to revisit. So you don't have to like, where did Erin have that email that she sent me with the attachment? It should all be here within the Teachable program. Let's just shimmy up here for a quick second. There is an actual training manual. So if you like paper, you like flip in a page, you can also get this manual printed off and have it at your own leisure. If you need a little bit more handheld document. I do add in more content though on the Teachable platform. We go through that additional content together, but there is a lot more kind of packed in here that you just can't put in a manual, like videos of me teaching or additional content to further understanding the yamas and the niyamas because we're watching or listening to other content. Again, you can't put that in a manual. But so if you want an actual paper document, it is there. And then again, kind of looking at the different parts and pieces of the training and expectations. So within each section, there's opportunities for a discussion board. There might be quizzes at the end of a module for you to complete. Actually, I don't think I might have many of those, if any at all, going on anymore. But the one thing that I do encourage, or that you must do, is purchase the book, The Whole Brain Child, which looks like so. And I'll do some follow-up emails to, if you're interested in moving forward. You can purchase this on Amazon. Depending on the day of the week, it's $9 to $15 to get this shipped to your house. Again, they usually have this bad boy at a library near you. But The Whole Brain Child's a great way to help your understanding of the development of a child. My goal here is to kind of help connect the dots of how to utilize these tools and the yoga foundations to help students in this world of social emotional learning and trauma. We can be, the Do Good movement and this program can be classified as a trauma-informed educational program. I don't like to market myself like that quite yet. I feel like that's a really heavy word to say, that I feel like I just want a little bit more content around that to be really, to feel confident that you guys walk away feeling well educated in it. But we do talk about it. And this book, The Whole Brain Child, we reference another book called What Happened to You with Dr. Perry and Oprah Winfrey. If you've never read it, it's a nice book that kind of blends and puts the parts and pieces together of the whole brain child and what happened to you and how to look at a child differently, to utilize these tools to help them in their self-regulation. That's kind of the whole point of our program, is to utilize these yoga foundations of movement, of breath, of mindfulness, that we get to have fun together in our classes, but these are real tangible things and tools that they can use when they leave our time together. They're going to help them be successful in the classroom, at home, with friends, and out in their community. So one assignment that we do have is for you to read the book, and then there's review questions that we will ask you to submit back to us to review. Your children yoga class review assignment. So this is for you to go and review 2 children's yoga classes These can be virtual. So there's plenty of children yoga instructors out in the world that have YouTube videos like me. I know Yogi Squad is a great other organization that would also have some content that you could review. And also Cosmic Kids Yoga. I mean, everyone knows them. That could be something too. Otherwise, going out and live, if there's somebody in your community you want to go and watch, you can. And you can, of course, come if you're in the Chicagoland area and see us do our thing as part of the Do Good movement. So your goal is to watch 2 classes, write up a review and send it over to me, creating class outline. So this is to get you ready for those 4 yoga classes that you'll teach. Again, one of them's with me. So it's kind of like you get an extra outline to have when you're ready to go teach. You have another class ready to go. But you create these 4 outlines and then you'll submit them for review. And then you'll go and teach those 4 classes or the 3 classes. Because again, one of them is already done. The other assignment is karma yoga. So karma yoga and the thought of karma is that of what you give out into the world. We'll come back to at another time. So what I term as kindness karma yoga is creating that kindness out into the world for it to come back to you. So that with this, it's those free yoga classes I had referenced, 4 of them. One of them is with me. You're doing 3 of these out in your community. It's based off of the structure of the class that you had already submitted, and then you're giving me a review of how that went. The second part of our Kindness Karma project is actually going out and doing kindness karma in your community in regards to service work. So that can be anything from maybe donating items to Goodwill. It could be donating your time somewhere, maybe making a financial contribution if that's something you want to do. And if you need ideas around how to give back to your community or to others, I'm happy to help you create some ideas. But that's the other part of the assignment. And the last kind of core part of our program that is outside of Teachable, outside of our virtual classes together, are these non-contact hours. So this is for you to deepen your education with different components of yoga, one of which is anatomy. So I partner with an organization or a group called Costa Yoga. They do 200-hour certs up to 500-hour certifications if that's something you're interested in, all virtual or hybrid. So I partner with Mandy, who is the owner of Costa Yoga, and she is phenomenal when it comes to anatomy. So I'm not going to recreate the wheel when it's already out there. So she has a great anatomy online course that you will go through. It is 14 hours long in regards to content. I just care about you getting kind of like the first 2 modules done to really be required of you in my 95-hour, but you have access to all of it. So that's at an additional cost. And I believe it is, I have it written down here. I believe it's $75 add on to what you're already investing into our program. And then there's a second part of this, which is restorative yoga for preteen and teen. And again, this is through Costa Yoga. This is full, the full program. So the expectation is for you to complete it, have a certification from that training, and it's all virtual content. But you walk away with a lot of great content and tools that you can utilize from Mandy and from Costa Yoga of how to do more restorative yoga, preteens and teens, the older crowds, the middle schoolers, that are a little bit of a different market than a lot of the content that I share with children's yoga. We really have our hands on that pre-K through 5th grade. We do work with 6th, 7th, and 8th graders relatively often, but our bread and butter is that early education. We find that the earlier we get on in, the bigger impact we have on the lives of these young children. So, but Mandy does a great job at bringing a different spin on this children's yoga program for those older kiddos and the preteens and teens. So those are kind of the other expectations outside of the Teachable program, outside of our calls together, are these other 2 additional anatomy and the preteen trainings that you'll do under Costa Yoga. So in regards to any extra costs, it's those 2 and then the whole brain child book. And then trying to think, outside of our content that's already written up in Teachable, I will email out links to the videos, but I'll also start to upload them here. So again, utilizing Teachable as a one-stop shop for you guys. You don't have to go through 5,000 emails to find the latest thing Erin sent to you. And then beyond that too, I do my best to create just as much wealth of knowledge and a one-stop shop in regards to additional yoga videos, meditation, links to books that would be great to incorporate into children's yoga classes, music, and all that within this teachable platform. So again, yes, we have our training, we have all the core content, but then we have those additional takeaways under my teachable account of just some extra things and games and activities that would be great to incorporate in a class. And we talk about how to utilize them. I talked about trauma-informed yoga. We also do have a part of our section that is on special education and working with different types of students in your classroom and how to help accommodate a setting, how to change up maybe your class, how to teach certain postures or poses or breath work, and to whom and in which way and why. So we talk about that as well. So again, we have this trauma-informed component of our training. We have this how to teach children's adaptive yoga or special education focused yoga as well. And then you have those other takeaway pieces with Mandy of the anatomy and the preteen. So you should get a pretty well-rounded scope of training. At the very end, when we meet live together, I then take it a little bit further and talk to you about, what do you want to do with this? And I try to keep that at the forefront of my mind at our first meeting together on that Wednesday in February to get to know you a little bit better. What are your expectations? What are your wants from this? And then how can I help you achieve those? So you might be coming into this, again, maybe you're just a mom and you want to be a better parent. Cool. Let's go through it. And then at the end, maybe you decided, you know what, this could be fun. Let's try it in my community. Maybe you want to create your own thing. You want to create your own business. What does that mean? What does that look like? What are all the things, the parts and pieces? Maybe you're helping to expand another business. What are some of the avenues you haven't thought about yet? What are different connections? What are ways to connect to different communities or different organizations or other non-for-profits that you can partner with? So again, my goal is not to just get you educated on children's yoga. I want you to feel comfortable in teaching it. And I want you to feel confident that you can go out and create these partnerships and these relationships to really do this in a successful way. So that's kind of my goal and my promise to you with this 95-hour training. So it's kind of my spiel. I'm going to stop sharing this for now. And I'm going to share actually one other thing now that I said that. This is kind of that like cheat sheet thing I was referencing. And by cheat sheet, I mean like welcome packet once you sign up. This is where we taught, or I suggested kind of like where you should be at by want state, ignore any spelling or grammatical errors because I know there's already one. Yeah. And then on our last day, so we have two locations that we are marketing to right now. One is the Fort Worth, Texas area, and the second one is in the Palos community, which is the south suburb of Chicago. Locations are to be determined exactly where we are going to have that live training at. It will, if you're in the Chicagoland area, it's going to be either Palos Park or Palos Heights, either at Moraine Valley Community College or Lake Catherine. I'm working out the just final details for that. And then in Texas, Brooke and I with Yogi Squad are finding a location. Well, we have a location, but we're just confirming that up as we kind of get closer into summer because people just aren't quite ready for us yet. But so this will look like, again, I already kind of talked about it, but this is a longer day. So we're going 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. During this time, we will practice teaching the class, and then we will actually teach a class to children that's roughly 45 minutes long. The age range that we try to hit during this is kind of that kindergarten through 5th grade. So kind of broad, but not too broad that we can't adjust and adapt. We won't be working with the little itty bitty babies. We will talk about kind of like mommy me style classes. And we won't be working with the olders, the preteens and teens. We'll kind of stick with that early or elementary level group of kiddos for that live class. The other thing to note in our times together, so those long weekends in March and in April, and then our time together in May in person, I like to start our trainings with an hour of adult yoga. So we'll start together on a mat. I'll lead us through movement, usually vinyasa hatha style of a class, incorporate some of the yoga poses or breath work we're going to work on together that's focused in the children's yoga content. But I like to have the practice of, it's not worth teaching children's yoga to others if you're not practicing it yourself. So we need to start with our own self-care. So with that, during those live times, we'll work a little bit on our own self-care and doing our own yoga class, and then we'll start getting into the content. So that's my little baby gift to you, if you like it. And yeah, so that's kind of like the gist of everything. Again, if you hadn't kind of heard my background, and I'll stop sharing officially. So I'm now an experienced registered 500-hour yoga teacher. I am a 95-hour, obviously, children's yoga teacher. I'm a continued education provider, and now I have my own school. So there's a lot of parts and pieces with the Do Good movement. But I have been teaching for almost 10 years now to adults and children. We have a curriculum in the schools. We run after school programs. We do assemblies. We do professional development. We do summer camps. We do it all. And it's a blast. And if this is something you're interested in, getting a little bit more education or bringing it into your community, I am all about helping others navigate the world of children's yoga and making it successful for you. So that's kind of my spiel.